I'm Ken James. I'm with Kathy Vant Foort, Director of Backyard Buyers. Kathy, welcome.
Thank you.
When I looked at your website, I thought, what a unique concept. But why is there an increase in people buying backyards?
Well, Ken, the reason is basically that there's an increasing population happening in Melbourne at a rate of, say, 50,000 a year.
Right.
And there's not much land out there available that has the facilities to the land.
Right.
So people are looking at their backyards.
And so why are people selling their backyards?
The reason to sell their backyard is to increase their funds, generally to pay off their mortgage first. That's the number one reason. Probably the second reason would be the maintenance of the backyard. It's very time consuming, people are time poor and are really wanting to increase that, and they're doing that by cutting their backyard basically in half and have more time. The other reason is leisure time and holidays, increasing their retirement fund and education for their children. So there's a number of reasons, but they've got that option to choose whichever one they want by getting a nice sum of money for their backyard.
So how do you go about subdividing and selling a backyard?
Well, firstly, people will need to look at their overlays and zoning for their property. They would need to look at their title to make sure there's no restrictions on their title. They would need to look at the positioning of their house on their land to make sure that it's actually physically possible, and the access to their backyard as well. Once they've established that it can be done, they would then need to look at getting a feature survey done, and an application to council would need to be made. Once they receive their permit, they would need to basically meet the conditions of that permit. So council will turn around and say that they'll need to do a number of things that they need to meet, and they need to go and make sure that happens. Once they've met that, they will get their statement of compliance, and basically, in a nutshell, they will take their subdivision and lodge it with the titles office, and they would have their two titles, in which allows them to sell their backyard and make lots of money.
Well, Kathy, it sounds like a lot of hard work. Does your company take that responsibility?
Absolutely.
You do the lot?
Yes, we do. Yeah, we take all the risks and all the headaches out of the process for our clients, and we pay them the agreed amount on settlement of the sale of the backyard.
Yeah. Now, the costs involved, how much does it cost to subdivide and sell a backyard?
Well, there's a number of elements, Ken, that make up I guess, an average of $60,000, and those elements include all the services that you need to provide to the backyard. So they would be like your watering, your power, your sewerage connections, your stormwater, and also driveway costs. If your subdivision includes a common property, you would need to construct the common driveway. Also, all the drawings and applications to council, your draftsman, engaging a draftsman, your fees for your agent to sell the backyard for you. So if you included everything from where to go, you would need to put aside at least $60,000.
That's if you did it yourself, but using your company,
yes,
you're not required to put any money up front.
That's correct, yes.
Oh.
Yeah. Yes, well, Backyard Buyers funds the process on behalf of our clients. So yeah, they don't have to look for any money, and they don't have to do any of the work. Yeah.
It sounds ideal.
It is a good deal, yeah, and people do enjoy the process because they just sort of sit back and just watch and wait until they get their cheque.
Okay, so the benefits to your clients are?
Well, they don't have to fund the process, right. There's no headaches for them, and there's no risks, and they know what they're going to get at the end of the day.
So basically what you're saying is make your backyard work for you.
Absolutely, yeah. They've got a pot of gold sitting in the backyard. Why not get that?
Does the process take long?
It would generally take about 12 to 18 months, and that's if you've really run quite smoothly. If you had objections from neighbours or the council objected to your application and you had to take it further, it can delay your process by another 6 months.
All right, yeah. Okay, hard one. Risks involved. Are there any risks involved?
Yes, there is, unfortunately.
You're honest.
Yeah, well, these, you can't avoid them generally. It is the objections from your neighbours and from council that you can get with your application that can certainly knock your application. There's also the market fluctuation. You never can be sure what the market's going to do too, and that can affect you. Also the conditions that council will give you, it can never be certain what they're going to ask you to do. So they can ask you to put in infrastructure services to the property that would also service your neighbours. So it's not only servicing your property but also their neighbours, and that can add a big cost to it, the process as well.
Okay, scenario, a client decides to sell or buy a backyard. How can your company assist that client in the process?
Basically, our company would take the project on behalf of the client and manage the whole process from start to finish. And we take all the headaches out of it for our clients and basically all the risk as well. We take that on ourselves and we finance the whole process for our client.
Well, like I was saying, money and time, two very valuable assets.
Absolutely, yeah.
In today's climate. So,
yeah.
Kathy, thank you for your time.
You're welcome, Ken.